Hey!
Hey, I'm CJ,
And I'm Robin.
and welcome to the Cozy Kitchen.
Come and make yourself comfortable here with us by the fire.
Let's chat about baking, friendship, and cozy hobbies. And if there's time and enough tea, maybe we'll even unravel some traumatic backstories.
I mean, there should always be enough tea.
Well, hello. Hey, Robin.
Hi, CJ. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Very good, very good. So, here's the thing. It is getting to be springtime, thankfully. I don't know about you, but sometimes we will have a false spring and it'll seem like it'll be springtime and it'll be kind of like late February, early March, and then we will get slammed with some kind of cold weather. But I'm hopeful that we have rounded the corner and we're looking at some warmer weather. But what about you? Do you get a false spring where you are, or are you
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of good to
Oh,
go?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there was a period of dry and sunny, and in fact, it's dry and sunny now, but last week was basically a snow freak snowstorm. Like we had actual snow in the Bay Area.
Oh
So
my gosh. That's pretty unusual for the Bay Area to get actual snow.
yeah, yeah, it is. So yeah, I'm hoping that that has passed, but I think there's more coming. But I am ready for spring. Right now it's sunny outside.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I love the winter. I love the fall. I love cold, chilly weather. I love cloudy weather. I grew up in it. So I really do love it. But my threshold for cold weather is definitely a lot higher than my threshold for hot weather. I would prefer cold weather more than hot weather. But even I get to a point in the winter where I'm like, I am so tired of bundling up. I'm so tired of having to put a jacket on every time I go outside. I'm tired of being cold. And so even I have gotten to that point where I've reached my threshold.
Not
Um,
enough.
Yes, and what better way to encourage spring to move it along a little bit than to do a little bit of spring cleaning? And I thought maybe today we could talk about spring cleaning for your kitchen. So, hooray!
Yeah, I think this will be a fun episode because we're going to talk about contrast because while you love spring cleaning and actually do it,
Yep.
I am in the it's aspirational and I never have time to actually go and do it.
Oh no. But you want to do it. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of actually getting to it.
Yes, and also, in my family, it was never done. That was not something my mom did or my grandma did. So it wasn't a thing until I, like, started teaching myself how to tidy and clean and do housekeeping.
Oh, that's
So,
very cool.
yeah,
And
so
I love
very
that.
different experiences.
Yeah, and let me ask you this. Whenever you know you need to start cleaning, what is the catalyst that really moves you from, I want to do this to I am actually doing this? I'm just curious.
It's usually the chaos is driving me nuts, and I'm like, "Okay, something needs to be done, and if no one's gonna do it, I guess I'm the one stuck with this."
It'll get done somehow, and you're the somehow.
Yeah, exactly, everyone just lets the somehow be me.
Now, has it ever happened to you where your kitchen was in that state where it was driving you nuts? Maybe it was like you couldn't find a certain thing, or it was just in a state where you were like, okay, something has to change. Has your kitchen specifically ever given you that
Mm.
issue?
That's interesting. It has in the past, but nowadays, I keep it fairly tidy, like, I won't cook unless it's a tidy kitchen, otherwise it
Yeah.
does get crazy.
Yeah, that's that, and I love that. And that's actually one of the things that I do as well is before I bake anything or meal prep or cook or anything, my principal rule is to have the space be tidy. I do not like cooking in a messy kitchen. I need the sink to be cleared and free of dishes. I
Yep.
need the countertops to be free of crumbs and things like that. I like it just overstimulates me way too much
Yeah.
to put a cookbook down and hear the crunch of crumbs on the counter. I hate it so much. It's like such a viscerally unpleasant feeling. I think that's a good rule in general, is
Mhm.
to like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does help with creating a really successful recipe whenever, your space is clear,
Yep.
everything is where you need it to be,
Mhm.
and you can toss stuff into the dishwasher as needed, or
Yep.
you can load up the sink as needed. So, yeah, it's super important. And I would love to get your thoughts on how you would tackle a spring cleaning for your kitchen. Like,
Mhm.
are there things that you would specifically like to put effort into first and foremost? Are there things that aren't optimal, but they don't bother you enough to really change it? Like, I'm curious how you would go about tackling a little annual physical for your kitchen.
I think the main thing that I wanna do this spring is kind of going through the pantry and tossing things that, A, either are, like, just expired and not fresh, or B, like, even if it's not expired or not fresh, I want to get rid of it. If I'm not using it for a whole year, why am I keeping this? I know I have a bag of protein pancake mix that I bought last year, and I just had it once and didn't really like it, but it's still sitting there, taking
Mhm.
space. So, things like that is where I want to go through and just chuck. My parents would be horrified to hear this.
Because
They
they didn't wanna throw anything away.
Yeah, they were just like scarcity mindset,
Mhm.
no food gets wasted even if, like, it tastes horrible.
Yeah, and I do understand that to an extent because that was like my Mima, my great grandma. She apparently just didn't throw a whole lot away because she grew up around the time of the Great Depression. And at that time, you didn't know where your next meal was coming from. A lot of families didn't know. And I think it was very similar for your parents' upbringing as well, where it
Mhm,
was very much very conscious of food scarcity and things like that. And so I totally understand not wanting to get rid of stuff, especially if it's food and everything, it's like you wanna use it up, you don't wanna waste food, and the goal is to waste as little food as humanly possible, but
mhm,
also my papa, my dad's dad, he went through the Holocaust and went through a horrible period of starving almost to death, and so after all of the World War II, and he was able to come to the United States with my grandmother and my aunt, they very much enjoyed all kinds of foods, but he
mhm.
also I remember him saying, "When in doubt, throw it out," because if especially if there is a food that has reached an expiration date, and if
Mhm.
it's going to make you sick, or
Yeah.
if it's going to do something harmful to you, it's no longer food basically, then you're not wasting it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely. What is since you're expert, much more expert than I am in this
I don't think
spring
so.
cleaning, what's on your list? Like, tell me, like, how what's your process now?
Well, I don't know if I have much of a process, but what I do whenever I clean out my kitchen is I focus on a couple key areas. I like to clean everything out. I like to take everything out,
Mhm,
take stock of what I have, and while everything is out of whether it's the fridge, the pantry, the spice cabinet, whatever it is, I
mhm.
will wipe everything down. All the surfaces get wiped.
Mm,
All of the things that I have are used often enough that it helps to wipe everything down, have a clean slate,
mhm,
and, so I like to start there. I like to start with taking out all of the things that I have,
mhm.
seeing what is there, and wiping everything down before it goes back in, and before I put anything back in, I'm like you, I like to go through what I have and look at all the expiration dates and see what I can definitely throw away. I know that there are some spices in my spice cabinet that I just haven't used, and it's not like they go bad
Mhm,
necessarily,
mhm.
but what you can tell whenever you have a bunch of dried herbs and they just don't smell like anything,
Right,
and you're like, "I don't wanna throw these away, but also they're not gonna add anything to this
right,
thing that I'm
right.
gonna cook."
Yeah.
And I would also say that with baking in particular, because it involves a lot of shelf-stable ingredients, it's easy for those to slide under the radar in terms
Mhm,
of the freshness aspect. I feel like with eggs, butter, milk, cream, etcetera, it's way easier to notice when those things have gone off.
mhm,
But I like to take this as an opportunity to go through any flour that I have,
mhm,
any like baking powder, baking soda, because
mhm,
those do eventually go bad. And
mhm.
you might not use the baking powder and baking soda very often. And the older they get, the less effective they are.
Right.
So if you don't bake all the time, and if you reach into your cupboard and pull out some baking soda and your cake falls flat or your cookies are flat, it could be because the baking soda just doesn't have the punch that it used to. So
Mhm, mhm,
but I will say baking soda is even when it's no longer good as a leavening agent, it still works very well as a cleaning agent
yes.
because it's very abrasive, and
Mhm,
so one of the ways that I will use it, if I have a lot of it to use, is I have a Dutch oven, and I use that to bake my sourdough, I use it to make soups and stews and all that, and it got brown on the bottom, and it makes me sad because it was a beautiful, like, creamy ceramic kind of a color,
mhm,
and what you can do is you fill it with water. I think you can also put some dish soap in it, I'm not 100%
mhm,
sure,
mhm,
but once it's boiling, you can pour in some baking soda and do this slowly because the baking soda will poof a little bit, and when
mhm,
it gets on things, it's tricky to get off because it crystallizes. But you put the baking soda in and you let the water just continue to boil for a little bit, and you can even let the baking soda water kind of sit, and the Dutch oven gets a lot cleaner. So,
mhm.
yeah, that's what I like to do. It's a long story, but
Yeah. No, that's a great tip. I hadn't thought of that actually, like, to, um, use, like, the, like, older baking powder, baking soda to,
Mhm.
um, clean. Like, I haven't
Yeah.
done that before.
I don't think it would work the same with baking powder because I
Mm,
don't think that baking powder is as abrasive.
mm,
It might work, I don't
mm,
know.
mm,
But
mm.
if you are looking through your cabinets and you're like, "Oh no, this baking soda is like 2 years old," might still be able to use it for cleaning applications. And let me ask you this, CJ, whenever you are going through and maybe you're cleaning up a little bit, do you ever put stuff back exactly the way that you had it, or do you
Mm.
take it as an opportunity to reorganize your cabinets, your fridge, whatever it is? Like, do you experiment with reorganization at all?
I definitely experiment with, like, reorganizing because as we speak right now, I'm looking at my cabinets and uh, it's just gotten to a point where, like, the stuff in the back, I don't even know what's back there right now. Uh,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to know what's there if you never use it, and I love what you said before about how you had that protein pancake mix, and it's just like, if you haven't used it in a year, then how much are you actually genuinely going to miss it if it is no longer there? And I feel like a year is a pretty good barometer for
yeah.
that. 'Cause it's like a year is a long enough time. A year is, that's birthdays and holidays and lazy weekends and busy days, and so I feel if you aren't using something for that whole span of time, chances are, if it's gone, you are not going to miss it.
So, I have a question for you, like, how do you tackle your refrigerator?
Oh, painstakingly. I hate cleaning out my refrigerator. I don't know why. I think it's because at least all the refrigerators that I have had have just been such a pain in the ass to clean. Whoever is responsible for making refrigerators needs to make a refrigerator that is easy to clean because it's such a pain in the ass. Like, at first I have to take everything out, including all the condiments and everything on the shelves on the door,
Mhm, mhm,
and then I try to take out if I'm really doing a good deep clean, I wanna take out all the shelves from the fridge itself,
mhm,
and I wanna wipe those down. I wipe down the sides of the fridge, and any kind of, like, loose debris, I will either vacuum it up or,
mhm.
depending on how much there is, I might just take a rag and take care of it there. And, the other thing that I try to do is I will look at my sauces and I will try and scrub off any dried bits of sauce that are on the outside of the cap because that drives me nuts. And it feels so much better when it's done. But yeah, just the process, it's just such a pain. As have you figured out a way to clean out your fridge without it being such a time of it?
No. It is painful, and that's why it doesn't get done as often as it should.
Now let me ask
My
you this, how often
Mhm.
do you think you should clean out your refrigerator? Like, do you like, or do you think it's just on an as needed basis?
I would say if I am ambitious, I would like to do it once a year.
Mhm.
But it doesn't get done that often. Although I find that once I got to a better place in terms of handling the organization of my fridge, then it takes less work. So you just, like, spot clean, like, maybe I can't tackle the fridge in one day, like, that is just too much. I have to take
Mhm.
it in bits, and I think
Yeah,
the worst is actually the freezer, because if something, like, gets
interesting.
gross in there, like, you have to defrost the whole thing and let it, like, warm up in
Mhm.
order to clean anything, because otherwise things freeze and just get stuck.
Especially if it's, like, sticky or something,
Mhm,
like, it's I don't know, like, yeah, that's just the absolute worst, and yeah, like, then you have to take everything out of the freezer, and you have to like, whatever's in there, it's gonna defrost while you're getting the freezer defrosted, and so you have to make plans for that, but yeah, the freezer would be really difficult to tackle. Is your freezer one of the tall, narrow ones, or do you have one of the drawer freezers? Like, is how hard is it to clean out your freezer?
So I have a few like fridges/freezers. I have both kinds, so the one that are tall and skinny, and then the one that's just like the freezer's the top section, and then the fridge is the bottom section.
Mhm.
Um, they uh, they both suck. Um,
I'm sorry.
I the only type that I don't have is the drawer kind, because I know my cousin has the kind that has the freezer on the bottom, and it's a pull-out drawer, and I don't have that kind, and boy, her freezer, I
Oh, no. I
I
feel like this would be hard to clean out too.
uh, yeah, I can imagine it would be hard to clean out too, and, um, my solution these days is just to keep my fridge pretty sparse.
It's funny you say that because that's been my method too. I used to overbuy with my groceries a lot,
Mhm,
and these days I am only getting exactly what we need for the week, no
mhm,
more, no less, and it's definitely helped. It's helped not only keep the fridge cleaner, keep our pantries a bit tidier, but it's also helped on food waste because I can see everything that we have and I can be like,
mhm,
"Oh, I haven't used that cauliflower yet."
yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's a kind of a good solution. And speaking of crowded with stuff, I have gone down rabbit holes on Instagram because I love watching people clean and organize their spaces. And
Uh-huh.
there is a certain section of the internet that is obsessed with watching people load up their pantries, their refrigerators, etc., with all of this plastic, like organizational kinds of things, like a separate egg carton that's just plastic and it's just for eggs. And
Mhm,
they have these little plastic drawers for bell peppers and fruit and everything.
mhm,
And I have also seen people use stuff like that for baking, where they will have these really pretty clear glass or plastic containers and they'll have like these cute little labels on them and it's like all purpose flour,
mhm,
bread flour,
mhm.
whole wheat flour, granulated sugar, things like that. And I want to know As somebody who does enjoy baking a lot, do you find that that is necessary? Do you think that it's a cute look? Because I don't really use stuff like that. I have 2 plastic containers, and I will put my flour and sugar in those. But what are your thoughts on just having a full kitchen that is just all of these clear containers that say what they are? I'm just so curious.
I have tried to do that. I
Mhm,
have those clear containers and the little black labels where you can, like, use this white pen that, you can wipe off and change the
Yeah.
label. It doesn't necessarily add joy to the baking process. I think that's completely independent. But it does add a level of, like, um pleasure when I look at the pantry when it's organized and stocked, it's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
pretty," you know?
Yeah, and there is a sense of, like, when everything is in a clear container, you know what you have and how much of it you have.
Mhm,
So I do like that aspect of it. I don't feel like it's necessary for my kitchen just because we don't have the space for it. We don't have anything to really display.
mhm.
So, yeah. Um, but I also feel like it's like, again, it's nice to see what you have.
I agree
Yeah.
with you on the space, like, if you
Mhm,
do organize in that way, it does require more space, and
mhm,
right now, my current kitchen doesn't have that space, so,
mhm.
it's a mess. That's why I have no idea what's behind the first, like, few
Yeah.
inches.
That being said, though, I love using ball jars because first of all, I can find them pretty much anywhere. Like if I go
Mhm,
to a thrift store or somewhere, they're just there in a lot of places, and they're so nice because they have the screw-on caps
mhm,
and they're clear, so you can see what you have.
mhm.
But because they're smaller, I don't use them for baking ingredients. I use them for candy. So
Oh.
I have a little candy shelf right next to my baking cabinet, and it's full of all these little candies and stuff. I don't always go to it, but I think 5-year-old Robin is just always so excited to see it because that's, like, that's a little kid's dream is to is to just
Yeah.
have pretty little glass jars full of candy. Doesn't always make you want it, but it's nice to have. So
So I need to know what type of candies do you have?
A couple different kinds. I have those Nerds gummy clusters
Uh-huh.
because I love the crunch of them and I love that they're kind of sour. We also have some chocolate, and the other one, I have marshmallows and a couple of others because I'm a hot chocolate kind of gal. I like marshmallows in my hot chocolate. So I like having that. Do you have anything similar in your household? Like any little jars full of little goodies or treats?
So I actually did some canning myself a while back. So I also have a lot of the ball jars. So that when I have extras, I will actually use it to store herbs.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so actually a lot of them in my other kitchen, I am storing Chinese herbal, like, cooking ingredients. They're, like,
Nice.
oddly shaped and they're pretty big. Sometimes it's, like, some types of roots that are shaved into, like, long pieces, and it doesn't really fit in, like, your standard spice jar, so I
Mhm.
use the ball jar to store them. So that's what I've been using those for.
Nice, and I imagine that also helps you keep things organized and you can see what
Yeah.
you have and what you're running low on if you wanna pick something else up.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, that's very cool.
Ye
So, in terms of giving your kitchen a yearly checkup, there are probably a couple of things that it would be good to have on the list of, things you'd wanna pay attention to. So, what would be the main 3 things on your kitchen checkup list?
Um, well, I think we already went through, like, taking stock of your ingredients,
Yeah.
just, like, chucking things that you just don't need, don't like.
Mhm.
I feel like that's a thing that should be done for the rest of life too. But
Mhm.
as far as your kitchen goes, I feel like that's number 1. Number 2, it really would be, like, just cleaning up and organizing, kind of what you were saying, just taking things out, and it's that process is almost like the 2 things that 1 and 2, right? You're taking stock
Mhm.
at the same time as, like, reorganizing so that the things that you want to use will be there when you need it.
Yeah.
Um, so those are the 2 main things, and then I think the 3rd one would be to clean out your oven, clean out, like, your stove, your stove gets used all year, and if you're not cleaning as you go, there will be a pileup, like, it's gonna get
Mhm.
greasy, and so you wanna just make sure that gets not over accumulated.
Yeah, 100% agree. Everything's ready to go when you need it, and you have done your due diligence to make sure that everything is tip top. So
Yes, yes. That is my, amateur look at it. What
I
about
I think for mine, I would agree, like, taking stock of everything that you have is a good one. I would also add in, along with taking care of cleaning out your oven, I would add to that maintenance list cleaning out your dishwasher filter, like, taking stock of
Mhm,
all of that.
mhm,
You know, taking stock of your refrigerator, maybe even putting a thermometer in the refrigerator and the freezer to make sure that it is at the correct temperature. I would also, and this is going to sound so dumb, but in addition to taking stuff out of the pantry and the refrigerator, I like to take stuff out of the drawers. So that
mm,
would
mhm,
be utensils, that would be different like spatulas and
mhm,
other kind of cooking utensils and equipment and everything. And I
mhm,
like to clean out the drawers as well because crumbs do fall in there.
mhm,
And it's nice to keep track of what all you have in the kitchen utensils department. You know, how have I really used all three of these whisks? Do I
mhm.
need all of them? Can I organize my drawers in a way that makes sense and it's going to be helpful for future baking?
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I've also seen videos of people doing maintenance on their stand mixers and even, like, changing out the oil that's in the stand mixer so that it doesn't get gunked
Wow.
up.
Okay.
I don't know enough about that, but there are videos on how to do that online, so
Uh, you're
that
doing a deep dive into spring
I
cleaning.
know. So, yeah, I would say in addition to cleaning all of the parts of the kitchen, check in on all of the appliances that you have and clean those out as well.
Mhm,
And, pro tip, if you are cleaning your oven, you can get oven cleaner and
mhm,
spray it on the oven door,
mhm.
and depending on how badly stuff is caked on, you want to let the foam kind of just sit there
Yep.
and work on that grease for a while. So you can actually spray it on and put plastic wrap on top of the foam,
Mhm.
and then it won't dry out. And so it'll keep
Mm.
working on the
Mhm.
grease as effectively as it can. And then give it like maybe like half an hour, maybe a full hour. The longer you let it sit, the more it'll work.
Yeah.
And then you can just squeegee it off. So,
I
fun pro tip.
love your pro tip. I didn't know about the, like, plastic wrap of that. I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah, it works really well on stuff that's just gunked on,
Mhm.
and you can't be taking a whole lot of time or elbow grease to get it off, and it's
Yeah.
very effective. But oven cleaner is very, I don't wanna say it's dangerous to work with, but you don't wanna
Mhm.
be breathing it in. You wanna be
Mhm.
using gloves whenever you are working with it.
Mhm.
So just be careful with any kind of cleaning solutions or anything like that that you use. Just,
Right.
a little, PSA. So,
Good. Yeah,
yeah.
I also use the oven cleaner, and it just works so well. There
Mhm.
was a time when I it didn't even occur to me that the oven needed cleaning, and it was years of gunk. And when I came back and looked at my oven, I was like, oh my god, this is a horror show." And I had to spend, like, a week. I dismantled this thing. I took off the oven doors. I dismantled the door, like,
Wow.
the glass, the external frame for the glass, like, I took every bit. It was like a engine replacement. Um
Wow. That's a deep clean for
Yeah.
sure. I bet your oven was sparkling after that.
It was very nice afterwards, and I am never gonna let that thing get that dirty again.
Yeah, well, and ovens, I mean, talk about pain in the ass to clean. Ovens are also very hard to keep clean. I think for some ovens, there is a way to take the door off, but if you don't have the time for it, if you don't have the tools for it, like having to reach around the door into the oven to clean, that is not an easy task.
Mhm,
And like, speaking from experience, I don't like putting the oven cleaner into the oven itself. I prefer just using it on the door because
mhm.
it is so hard to reach in and wipe everything down. And with oven cleaner, you want to wipe it down so thoroughly because you don't want fumes getting into your food. So, yeah, I prefer using it just on the oven door where it's easiest to get off. But that also means that it's a pain in the ass to clean the actual inside of the oven.
Yes, yes.
Ah, yeah, but kudos to you for cleaning your oven out that thoroughly. I don't know if I would be able to do
It had
that.
to be done.
Yeah, and it probably felt really good too. Like, you probably like, for the next few weeks, you probably looked at that oven and were just like, "Oh, hell yeah."
Yeah, yeah, so proud of myself there.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, I feel like we've got some pretty good checklists for doing a little spring clean for the kitchen. And before we know it, we will be back in it and ready to get cleaning or get cleaning, get baking again
Yeah,
with a nice clean kitchen. Cause I don't know. I feel like that's part of the baking process is you get to enjoy doing it in a nice clean kitchen. So,
yeah, yeah, so come back next week and we'll have more baking/cooking adventures in a clean
yes.
kitchen.
Yes, we will be in our nice, sparkling, clean kitchens. And we're so glad that you joined us today. Hopefully, you were able to get some good tips and tricks. And just another PSA before you use any kind of oven cleaner, please read the instructions on the back. Please don't hurt yourself. Just don't hurt yourself, please.
Yes.
Yeah, and always make sure you're in a nice ventilated space with any kind of cleaning agent. So yeah, that's just I worry about you guys. I just please don't hurt yourselves.
Yes.
But yeah, thanks again so much for joining us. We hope you join us next time as we sit by the fire and talk about more fun with baking.
Yeah, see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. That's it for this episode of Cozy Kitchen.
We're so glad you stopped by. We can't wait to see you the next time we sit by the fire. See you next
See you
time.
next time.